Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about how the month of September is going to fare for all the signs of the Zodiac. So you're going to want to know what your sidereal Vedic signs are. And the signs that I want you to be looking for are your ascendant, which is the rising sign, as well as your moon sign, because these are the most important signs. The moon will give you how you're going to be feeling about things, and the ascendant is actually what is going on for you. So you need to know both of these. If you don't know your sidereal Vedic signs, please go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org, and click on the free chart calculator. Once you put in all your information, your birthday, year, time, place, then scroll down to the bottom. Once it comes up, don't try to read the chart if you're not familiar with Vedic astrology. Just go to the bottom. It will tell you AS, that's your ascendant rising sign, or MO, which is your moon. And those are the signs for you to listen to. The moon gives you how you feel. You'll see that when you blend these both, it really does give you the essence of what you're about to experience this month of September. So while you're at my website, please don't pass up. Check out my free newsletter. Sign up for it. That will pop right up. So become a member and you will receive all of my emails every week, all of my predictions directly to your email address. Can't pass that up. And while you're there, check out my Shooting Stars classes where we talk about how to raise consciousness on a weekly level. And please check out my magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights. Has all sorts of amazing articles you won't want to miss. Comes out every month and it's digital. So with that, let's get started. Let's talk about how we're going to prosper and grow through this month of September 2023. So let's start with Aries. If your moon or your ascendant sits in the sign of Aries, this has been a really intense time for you. Why? Because Jupiter, Rahu, Uranus are sitting in your first house. This means this is a year of new beginnings, fresh starts. But things kind of get off to a sudden, unexpected change. Things are changing quite radically with you. You're probably experiencing more changes than most because these powerful planets sit in the first house, which means you are the one who's activated. And there's a new beginning and a feeling of power for you this month in particular. Now, Mars is transiting through your 6th house. You must be a little more careful. You are very accident prone this month. Don't be impatient or impulsive. Take your time getting places. Think about it. And you'll be okay, but still you are prone for accidents, and I want you to take care of your health. The 6th house deals with health, but all at the same time, you may have some situations at the workplace where you have run-ins with coworkers or maybe your employees. It's just they're being very difficult with Mars in the 6th house. And Venus sits in your 4th house, which means you're so happy being at home. Home and family, everything's coming together. Your house is really looking up. Maybe you're buying new furniture, maybe you're decorating, but you're making your home more beautiful, maybe even renovating, but things will go smoothly and things will come out beautifully. And if your mother's still alive, it's time to probably meet up with her. Have some family gatherings, some parties, get-togethers, celebrations. And Saturn is in your 11th house during this whole year and year to come. That just means that you're really weeding out the friendships in your life. You're changing. In other words, new friends are going to come in, but right now you've got to pretty much change or close the door on some of your old friends. Be patient, new ones will come, but it's time to really get rid of those friends that drain all your energy and make you so tired. Now, the Sun and Mercury are transiting through your 5th house, and this tells me that you're more creative. You've been backtracking with Mercury retrograde, trying to figure things out and fix a lot of things. If you have children, they will be a focus. You're probably helping them get back to school, education, things of that manner. And remember, it's a time to be more creative. So that covers Aries. Now let's look and see what's in store for Taurus, moon or ascendant for the month of September. This means that the Jupiter, Rahu, Uranus are in your 12th house. You might be traveling to some foreign countries or places suddenly and unexpectedly. But at the same time, things from the past are coming up that you need to sort through, and there will be a good outcome with it. So getting together with old friends and old associates will be part of this month. Furthermore, you might find that your dreams take on a different flair or color. Pay attention. 12th house deals with dreams and the imagination. So it's time for you to really write down your dreams and process them, because important information is trying to be revealed to you. Mars is in the 5th house, and this really activates your mind, your creative power. It gives your mind more definition. You can think harder, concentrate, focus, and create things. So if you're trying to come up with new concepts, you're an entrepreneur, this is the month that you'll be able to do so. Plus, if you are technical in any way, you're going to be working on a lot of new projects with Mars transiting your 5th. Venus now is in your 3rd house, which that gives you more creative ability to see things from a creative style. Now, if you're a writer, this could be a time to start your book, get that writing going, because Venus in the 3rd will give you creative power. Mars in the 5th will give you drive and power to get it done. The 5th house is also the house of authorship. So this would be a good month to start the writing, or to finish up what you've already started. Maybe even doing a blog, or just maybe journaling. It's time to express yourself. Now, Saturn is in your 10th house and will continue to be there for the next year. And this pretty much means work is steady, work is maybe a little bit boring, but you're able to get a lot done. Saturn gives you the discipline and the focus. But you're kind of, I need something new. Just don't worry about it yet. Things will change, but this is a time that you get a lot of hard work done and completed. Go for it. Now, with the Sun being in your 4th house and Mercury, you've been thinking a lot about your family, your heritage, maybe even getting some of the gene pool looked at, things like that, going back and really discovering who you are. With Mercury retrograde, that might be exactly what is of interest to you, to find out your heritage, to study it, and have some deep and more lengthy conversations with your mother if she is still around. If your ascendant, rising sign, or moon sign sit in Gemini, then you have had the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in your 11th house. And of course, this brings new friends, new opportunities of meeting new people. And many of these people will be highly influential and able to help you in so many ways. Yes, take advantage of this time frame. You know what the old saying is sometimes, and it's true, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. So go out, find new associations, go to any event you're invited to, because you never know who you're going to meet. Now, Mars is in your 4th house. So Mars being in the 4th house tells me there might be some things breaking down in the home, or maybe you're doing a little bit of renovation, or maybe you're looking outside for a different home. Could even be a second home. But keep the lookout, because things are simply changing in your environment, and maybe there's some kind of arguments or disagreements with family. Particularly if your mother's still around, there might be some conflict concerning her. Now, Venus is in your 2nd house. This is a time when money comes in. This is a time that you're more prosperous. Take advantage of Venus in the 2nd. You know what I always say, Venus is the planet of billionaires, while Jupiter is the planet of millionaires. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be a billionaire or even a millionaire, but this will be a time where luxury items, you might be buying luxury items, and things are coming easier to you financially. Now, Saturn is in the 9th house, and maybe you're not traveling as much as you used to, but it's a time to change how you believe, looking at your belief systems. Maybe there's something that needs to shift, but don't be so cynical when it comes to your beliefs and how things are out in the world with Saturn in the 9th. Now, if your father is still alive, he may be having some issues or problems, or might be a decline of some kind, maybe with his health, or maybe he's just retiring, or maybe he's just really lonely. If you're connected to your dad, this is a time that you should look him up, check on things. Now, the Sun and Mercury are transiting in your 3rd house. So this is a time that your writing, your communications become stronger. Maybe you're connecting more with the past, with a sibling, a brother or sister, because Mercury's retrograde here. There's things that you need to go back and reassess with that sibling of yours. But it's things that can be looked at to reassess, to heal things and make it better. And be aware that your communications are a little off, but remember this, you just got to come to a place of compromise. So if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Cancer, then the Rahu, Jupiter, Uranus sit in your 10th house. This has been a year of major changes with your work. Exciting changes. Some of them may be a sudden raise, windfall, or advancement, or something where you expand your business, your work. This is a time for work opportunities, so please take advantage of this. Now, with Mars transiting your 3rd house, you might find that there's a trip that maybe you didn't plan on going on, but mainly it'll be by car, by a road trip or some sort, or maybe this month you're just commuting back and forth more than usual with certain things. And if you have any brothers or sisters, this might be a month of conflict with them, where there's some issues or problems that you don't agree on. You probably won't agree the whole rest of the month, so maybe just leave it be till we move on till October or so, because this is a time that things will be difficult with siblings. And your vehicles, make sure they're well maintained. Make sure that you have everything, the oil and everything going in your car, so you don't have any breakdowns. Now, Venus is in the 1st house. And Venus being here makes you more attractive, makes you come off looking better to people. And you may find that you do look better. Maybe you're buying a new wardrobe, maybe you're changing your hair color, your makeup. The way you look changes and you're more attractive. So be aware, if you're not in a relationship and you want to be, get out there because you're glowing right now. You're more attractive and you're putting more effort into looking better. So maybe diet, exercise, or just changing the way you dress. Something about your image and how you look is more appealing this month. Now, Saturn's been in the 8th house. There's been some difficulties, there's been some changes and deep, dark stuff that you've been trying to sort out or deal with on a psychological level. This is where you feel like things aren't just coming together, you feel stuck. It's okay, it's going to change. Maybe this is the time that you need to really work on yourself psychologically, deeply, as to how you view yourself and how others will view you as well. Now, the Sun and Mercury are in your 2nd house. Sometimes the Sun in the 2nd house can mean you're spending too much money, but it's okay because it is time for you to reassess your finances with Mercury retrograde there. And by doing so, you're going to find that you're going to find some problems where maybe you've been being overcharged, or you've been being charged for something that you forgot about or you didn't know about and you don't need or want. Check that out. This should improve your financial situation. So if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Leo, then this means that Rahu, Jupiter, and Uranus are in your 9th house. And the 9th house is the house of travel, long distance travel, and learning, higher learning. You are becoming much more adept with your studies, with philosophies in life, and your spirituality. These are the things that are important to you. So you're going to find that this is the time of major studies and expansion intellectually and spiritually. And you might find a sudden unexpected trip is on the horizon. You get to go somewhere beautiful, fun, exciting. Enjoy that trip. And if your father's still alive, visit with him. Your visit will be very healing, wonderful, and you'll have fun. Maybe you're going to go on a trip to visit your father or your parents somewhere. That could be the case here as well. So your Mars will be in the 2nd house. And Mars in the 2nd house is when you start to spend more money than you thought you were going to be spending. Maybe you're on a spending spree, or maybe you just purchase something that is very expensive. Therefore, a lot of money is pouring out. But let me say this, with Mars being there, it can sometimes bring in money, but you tend to spend it just as much. Be careful what you're saying too, because sometimes when Mars is in the 2nd house, we blurt out things before we think, and you could regret it. And there could be a little bit of conflict concerning family and family matters. So make sure you're coming from a place of peace and calm when you make decisions with the family. So Venus is in your 12th house. You should be sleeping very well. The 12th house deals with sleep and pleasant dreams. So nighty-night, pleasant dreams. You're sleeping well. You're getting the rest you need. That's delightful. And you might find that there's a connection to someone from the past, such as an old relative or an old relationship. Maybe it's just the memory comes up, but it's extremely strong and profound. Now, Saturn is in the 7th house. And with Saturn being in the 7th house, relationships are stressed. This whole year and past year, it's been tough. There's been some issues that you've had to work out in your relationships. And Saturn is very constructive, so therefore it can be healing, but it's taken a lot of work, a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, but it will make it better in the long run. So the sun is transiting in your first because this is the time for the sun in Leo, but Mercury is there retrograde as well. So you are really expressing yourself in a dynamic, powerful way with the sun being in your first house. This is a time that you become strong, you realize who you are and what you want. That is the most definitive answer I can give you about what's going on. And you might rehash and reevaluate many things going on in your life with the sun being there. And in reality, it's there every single year when the sun goes into Leo. It's going to be in your first house. So every year at this time, you feel stronger, more courageous, and you're able to accomplish more. So if your ascendant, rising sign, or moon sign sits in the sign of Virgo, then the Jupiter, Uranus, Rahu sit in your 8th house. And you might find that there's been some money that has come to you, possibly through an inheritance or a settlement or some kind of insurance, but this is the time that unearned money should come to you. And usually it does. And I gotta say this, it might be something you didn't expect. So be on the lookout for that. Now, with Mars being in your first house, please be cautious because Mars makes one quite impulsive, impatient. You got to take your time, but you're not going to feel like it. So be aware that don't be going over the speed limit. You could cause not only an accident, but a speeding ticket. Take care to slow down and focus, because this is a crazy time when you feel impulsive and always in a hurry. Leave way ahead of time before you go anywhere, just for this month at least. Venus is in your 11th house. There's a lot of social events that are coming about. You're going to find you're invited to parties and new events. Go for it. You're going to meet some new fun people and very creative out there people. It's time for you to get out and have fun and meet others. New friends will come into your life during this time. Now, Saturn has been in the 6th house, which has weighed pretty heavy on your health. You felt restricted, but you could have had more discipline, but your energy level is a little down and out with Saturn in the 6th. And work, you don't feel like your coworkers or your employees are doing the work that they promised. Therefore, it's putting more stress on you and you're having to work more. And it's tiring. Yes, Saturn in the 6th house, you're working too hard and you're overworked. Now, the sun is in your 12th house. And with the sun being here in the 12th house, you're going to find that, well, you're not sleeping as well. The sun is fiery and keeps you up a little bit. But there's a lot of old memories that are coming back. And Mercury is there, by the way, retrograde. So you're having to go back and reassess a lot of things from the past. That is going to bring some resolution, some endings, and finality to things that you've been working on and trying to finish up for a long time. Just realize there's going to be something where you're going to have to finish things and get things completed. Compromise. You got to compromise. So if your ascendant, rising sign, or moon sign sits in Libra, then the Jupiter, Rahu, Uranus sit in your 7th house. This is the year of change in the area of relationships. Relationships are changing. And if you're not in a relationship, this could be the time you meet someone exciting, fun, and that you can travel with, go places with. Just somebody that is, and maybe even a foreigner with Rahu being there. Be open, in other words, to people that are unusual and different in the area of relationships. And if you're in a relationship, you'll see how your partner has been going through some kind of transformational change. Your Mars will be in your 12th house. And the 12th house deals with the past and sleep. Yeah, you're not sleeping too well. Something's bothering you from the past. Something's come up that you've had to sort out. Look at and reassess about your past or people from your past that come up, and there's something that you need to resolve. It's not easy, and it might cause some sleepless nights. Plus, Mars being there in your 12th house isn't the greatest thing for health. So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I know it's hard to rest. I know you're worried about something from the past, but that doesn't mean you forget to take care of yourself. Venus is in your 10th house. This is good things happening in the workplace. Your boss is very pleased with you, or you may move up to have a position of power. You could be the boss, or just things are going well in the workplace. There's a lot of creative endeavors. Your purpose, your meaning in life is really making you feel more purposeful about life. Now, Saturn is in the 5th house. If you have children, you won't be around them very much. Maybe it's like you've just gone through being an empty nester, or your children are moving out and you don't have them around you so much. But all at the same time, it is a time for concentration and focus. You will be focusing in on your creative projects. You might feel a little bit blocked, but still put the focus there, because it's going to help you tremendously to get things done. The sun is in your 11th house with Mercury. It's time to go back and find those old friendships. Communicate, send them a message, text them, go on to any social media, reconnect with some old friends that you've been thinking about. It will be a lot of fun, and I think the friendship will be renewed. So go back, look at the friends you've been thinking about, try to get in contact with them, and you're going to find that old friends come in from the past, but in the process, you'll probably end up meeting some new friends as well. If your ascendant, rising sign, or moon sign sit in the sign of Scorpio, then this means the Uranus, Rahu, Jupiter are in your 6th house. The 6th house is the house of your work. So good things are happening around the workplace. There's a lot of expansion, but there's a lot of change. But this means good changes. Things are really happening quickly. And I think it's the way you want it to work. If you need more help and you have your own business, hire some new people. Now's the time. New employees will be of great benefit to you, and you'll find some really good ones. Also, the 6th house does deal with pets. So you probably heard me say this before, but if you've been thinking about getting a new dog or a cat, this is the time to do it, because Jupiter there means you'll get the best ones ever. Mars is in your 11th house. You're going to find that friends are not as cooperative as they once were. You're going to find there's some conflicts, and maybe it's time to end some of those friendships that just aren't working. You don't have to go through any big argument to do so, although that might be why the friendship is ending, through a conflict and an argument. And if you have an older sibling, this might be the one that you're in conflict and having an argument with, so be aware of that as well. Venus being in your 9th house, it could be a time that you go on some delightful, fun trips. And if your father's still alive, this is a time to visit. You'll have some heartwarming connections. No matter what your relationship is, it could really work out with Venus being in the 9th house. Plus, don't forget Venus being here. It makes you very poetic and wanting to learn new things, especially things that deal with spirituality, deal with truth, just reading some books that you've never had the time to expand your consciousness, your awareness with. This will be a great time for this. And don't forget to expand your connection to different cultures and learning about other people while Venus is in your 9th. Saturn's in your 4th house. You're not so happy with where you're living, but this has been going on for a while. Maybe you just had a change of residence, but you just don't feel right. You don't feel settled in, or maybe you're thinking, I need a change. I'm not happy with my surroundings. Maybe that means it's time to change something about your house. Maybe someone's moving in, maybe someone's moving out, but there's some changes that are disruptive and not so good going on with your home. Plus, your mother, if she's still alive, she may be struggling. She might be having some health issues. She might be trying to overcome something. Maybe she feels alone and she's depressed. Give her your time if she's still around. The sun will be in your 10th house with Mercury retrograde. This is fantastic for work. You shine. And there's been a lot of re-evaluations going on in the workplace that make you look better. And you're coming out and you're shining. This is a lovely time for work. The sun gets directional strength in the 10th house. And so every time around this time of year has always been a good time for you career and work-wise. And it also gives you a sense of purpose during this time. If your ascendant or your moon sign sit in the sign of Sagittarius, then the Jupiter, Rahu, Uranus have been in your 5th house. This is a time of creative endeavors. You have amazing new ideas. Move with them, go with them. This is a great thing for you to be this creative. It's not always the case. You're inventive. People probably ask, how in the world did you think about that? These are things that you are inventing that are on the cutting edge. Yes, you should move forward with these ideas. And don't forget, the 5th house can also deal with investments. This is a great time for you to invest, possibly in the stock market, or invest in anything that will make you richer, because this is going to be to your great benefit. Do it. Mars is going to be in your 10th house. Mars loves to be in the 10th house. This gives you great opportunities. Things are opening, new things. You have energy and drive in your career, in your work, in your purpose. And if you're looking to go get a job, go. This is going to be the month that it's going to happen for you with Mars transiting in the 10th house, or major changes with your work. Now, Venus is in your 8th house, so issues around love and maybe some issues about trying to better understand yourself, especially in terms of your psychology and the changes you've wanted to implement. Well, this can be a good time for that. There can be some major awakenings here with Venus being in the 8th. And these awakenings can involve changes in how you relate to others, particularly in your love relationships. This can be a time of better understanding one another in healing. It's a beautiful time for that. And it could bring you some money through other people as well. Now, Saturn's in your 3rd house. So Saturn being here It might mean that you're having a hard time in school. If you're in school and you're trying to study, it just feels like you've got to put more effort and more discipline into it. This is the only way it's going to work. Another thing is you might have been held back, or trips maybe that you had planned could be delayed or held back. You don't get to go as often on a trip as you'd like to. So something maybe gets canceled or something of that effect. Another thing is with Saturn being here, if you have brothers or sisters, you might find that you're cut off from them. You're not as close to them, or maybe it's just a distance. You don't get to see them as much. They're gone somewhere and you feel an emptiness and a void in relationship to siblings. Now, the Sun and Mercury are in your 9th house. And with Mercury being retrograde, there might be, like I said, some trips that are kind of held back, delayed a little bit. But with Mercury there, eventually you'll go. So don't worry about that. The Sun in the 9th, you're feeling spiritually inclined, more philosophical. If your father's still alive, maybe it's time for you to reconnect, because Mercury's retrograde. Go back and maybe reconnect and communicate, because it's a time that differences can be resolved. So if your ascendant, rising sign, moon sign sit in Capricorn, then the Jupiter, Rahu, Uranus are situated in your 4th house. You might have just had a big move, and sometimes these moves are not so planned out. But I know that around this time, if you haven't moved in the past year, it's probably going to happen in the next year, within a year's time. Actually, before next May, there could be a move. But chances are you might have already had a move, and in this case, you're starting to get situated where you feel like you're putting your roots down. You're getting grounded. You're getting more connected with where you're at, your place of residence, your home. You're feeling at home, finally. Mars will be in your 9th house. You're really wanting to go places. You're feeling impulsive, impatient about maybe travels. But if that's not the case, maybe you've decided to go back to school. Some way or other, you're expanding your awareness, your consciousness. And it feels good to really look into some spiritual realm that maybe you've been ignoring or not being part of. Now, if your father is still alive, you might find that there's some conflict. Maybe you need to stay away. If you have butt heads before, this time in your life is not going to be better. There can be some disagreements and arguments going on. Now, Venus is in your 7th house. How lovely is that? Your relationships are better. You get along. You're going places. You're in love. Things are working out. And if you're not in a relationship, hey, it's time to go out and try to meet someone new. Because Venus is all about love and connection. And this is a lovely time for love affairs and being in love. Being able to communicate with your partner on a deep, sensitive level. Now, Saturn for you is in your 2nd house. So you've had to really watch your spending, be a little bit more frugal. But you know as well as I do, being a Capricorn ascendant, you're already pretty frugal. But maybe this is a time that you really consolidate a lot of things and bring things together. Concentrate what you're putting your money into. Maybe not so many variety of different things, but put your money into one thing that you know is working. And this is going to work out much better for you. You might feel that you've been a little isolated from family, and maybe there's some distance or separation with your family of origin. So be aware of that. It's just you're not feeling connected. You're not feeling it right now, in other words. Now, the Sun and Mercury are in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is the house of deep research, analysis, getting to the bottom of things. And I feel like you've been really assessing a lot of things from the past that you need to work out psychologically, and this will be of great benefit for you. You're going to start feeling a lot better from the work you do on a psychological level during this time, figuring out things and why things have not been the way you want them. You've got to do some work on yourself and change. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Aquarius, then this means the Jupiter, Rahu, Uranus conjunction is in your third house. This has been quite a year for travel for you, or just simply learning a variety of new expansive things that you've never looked at before. Maybe you decided to go back to school or take that class. And remember, your brothers or sisters, their life is changing a lot. And maybe you are going to be visiting them. Maybe that's what this trip's about, visiting a sibling, a brother or sister. It's time to go reconnect. Their life is changing. Things are radically changing between you two, but you'll have a good time. And you'll see that you need to be happy for the things that are going well for them. Or if they're not, you need to be there to lend them an open, unbiased opinion. So Mars is in your 8th house. This is a time of deep, deep introspection. You might find that you're more interested in researching projects. Maybe not only just research, but looking into something more scientifically than you ever have before. This is fun. This is where you're going to direct your energies through dissecting things, getting to the core and the bottom of things. And psychologically, yes, things are going to change quite rapidly. And this will produce major, major shifts and changes in your outlook in your life. Now, Venus is in your 6th house. This is a great time for your work. You're getting along royally with your coworkers, and if you need more employees, this is a good time to hire new employees. I'll tell you something else. Your employees are really serving you. They're doing very well and sensitive to your needs and cooperating. Also, it's a good time to get a pet. Venus being in the 6th house, if you've been wanting a dog or a cat, or hey, even just a goldfish, it's time to get a new pet. Now, Saturn's been in your 1st house. This has been heavy. You feel like you've had more responsibility than ever. This is a time that you're caring for others, and it takes a lot out of you. It's very, very draining. Saturn in the 1st house. I know how that can be. So take care of yourself. Remember, that's the only way that you're capable of taking care of other people. But I know you are very, very drained, and it's a heavy, somber experience to have to take care of others that cannot care for themselves to a certain degree. But it is a time that your discipline and your focus becomes stronger. Is it fun? No, but it's what needs to happen. The Sun and Mercury are in your 7th house, relationships. This is a time that you're sorting things out, coming to a compromise with your partner. And you may find that they're a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot, trying to control things, and they need to be center stage and get attention. But it is time for you to talk things out and come to some peace and compromise with your partner at this time. So if your ascendant or your moon sign sits in Pisces, then Jupiter, Uranus, and Rahu are in your 2nd house. This is the house of money, wealth, and suddenly money and wealth should be coming to you. This is an exciting time. Jupiter will be here all the way through next May, so this is the time when things could start happening, especially now. Money coming unexpectedly, clearly from a source you didn't think of, but this is what's going to happen. Also, it's a house of family of origin. So you might be visiting your family and things are going well. Even though many things are changing on the home front, it's still nice to visit and reconnect. Now, Mars is in your 7th house. Be aware that this is not the greatest time to be in agreement with your partner. And it's okay. It's okay to disagree. Just get through this month. That's all I have to say, because it's not going to be there forever. But there's going to be disagreements and fights. Don't be too impulsive or rash when you say things. You may regret it. Well, you will regret it. Hold back. Wait till the month's over. You'll see what I mean. Things will improve in October. But there are going to be some disagreements or just feeling uneasy with your partner. Now, if you don't have a partner, this can even talk about business partners in essence. And is it a good time to meet someone? Possibly, but you might find that they rub you the wrong way. That's what could come about, meeting new people for love relationships with Mars in your 7th house. Now, Venus is in the 5th, so this is kind of interesting. Because Venus in the 5th house can deal with dating, courtship, but it's definitely about having fun. So Venus there, you could be enjoying yourself, go to the things that make you happy, whether it's a sporting arena or a ballet or a show, theater, whatever makes you have fun, do it. You're going to have a great time. Also, it's a good time for investing. It's time to invest maybe in the stock market. You'll do well this month with Venus there. And your children will prosper. You'll feel like they're doing well with wherever they are in their lives, whether it's school or their families. Things will be good for your kids. Now, Saturn will be in your 12th house. And this is like causing you to not sleep as well these days. You're worried about something from the past, but Saturn will give you the discipline and the focus to finish up old lingering projects that have been taking forever to bring to completion. Now's the time that you can finally get some work done on that and be done with it so that you can move on to other projects. But it might take a while, but you do need to focus on it. And also take care of your health, because Saturn there in the 12th could cause some health issues. And looking across from where Saturn is in the 12th house, the Sun is sitting in your 6th house. Now, the Sun generally there will increase your health, give you some more momentum or more power, but since Saturn's kind of opposed it, yeah, you got to really watch your health. Be cautious, be good to yourself. Try to get the rest that seems and appears whenever you try to go to sleep at night, your mind's on overdrive and you can't stop thinking. Do whatever you need to do to get some rest and for you to slow yourself down, to take care of your health, because this might be a little tricky month health-wise. Get the rest you need. So with that, I have covered all 12 of the signs for the month of September. I hope you've enjoyed this dissertation, and I hope you get your wishes, your dreams, whatever you want out of your life in the month of September. So if you want to learn more about me, if you would like a reading, take this to the next level of understanding, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and take advantage of my free newsletter, sign up for it, and look at all the classes I have going. Also, if this has inspired you to learn Vedic astrology, remember I have an online school. And you can become my student anytime, self-paced. You can start anytime. It's all online. So go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.